Student, this topic is from paper 203, that is a synthesis of phospholipids. But before going to synthesis of phospholipid, the starting material which is synthesized, which leads to the synthesis of phospholipid, comes from synthesis of triglycerols. So I will brief in the triglycerols what we studied, and then we'll go to synthesis of phospholipids. In exam, if it is asked, the starting material is obtained from triglyceride synthesis pathway. You have to mention about few steps of this triglycerols and then come to the starting material and then continue with the phospholipid. Triglycerols are synthesized from fatty acyl CoA esters and glycerol 3 phosphate or dihydroxyacetone phosphate. So the starting material for synthesis of triglycerols is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Now it can undergo two types of changes. Finally, the changes are same. The C2 group of dihydroxyacetone phosphate, that is a keto group, that will be converted to a alcohol group, and an acyl group will be added at the C1. C3 phosphate will remain as such. So this addition can happen in different way. The initial step in this process is catalyzed either by glycerol 3-phosphate acyl transferase in mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum, or by dihydroxyacetone phosphate acyl transferase in endoplasmic reticulum or peroxisomes. So, in case of peroxisomes and endoplasmic reticulum, this enzyme dihydroxyacetone phosphate acyl transferase first transfers an acyl group to the C1 carbon of dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and it forms acyl dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Further, dihydroxyacetone phosphate reductase reduces the C2 keto group to an alcohol group, forming lysophosphatidylate acid. Now, in case of like mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum, dihydroxyacetone phosphate is converted to glycerol 3 phosphate with the help of glycerol 3 phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme, converting the C2 keto group to an alcohol. Then the glycerol 3 phosphate acyl transferase transfers the acyl group to the C1 carbon. In both the pathways, you have the formation of lysophosphatidylate acid. Lysophosphatidylate acid further will be acted on by 1-acyl glycerol 3 phosphate acyl transferase, which transfers the acyl group from the lysophosphatidylate acid, thereby forming phosphatidic acid. This phosphatidic acid is the precursor of phospholipids, and phosphatidic acid can be like give out the phosphate with the help of enzyme phosphatidic acid phosphatase, and then form 1,3,1,2 diacyl glycerol. So that also can be the starting point for phospholipid synthesis. So the starting raw material for the synthesis of phospholipid is phosphatidic acid and 1,2 diacyl glycerol. So 1,2 diacyl glycerol can be further acted by 2 monoacyl glycerol acyl transferases, transferring and like further removing acyl group. So it forms 2 monoacyl glycerol. So, or else it can be acted by diacyl glycerol acyl transferase to form triacyl glycerol. So, this is about the biosynthesis of triglycerols. Now, we'll come to phospholipids. So, phospholipids, as such, they are ambipathic molecules. They're composed of 1,2 diacyl SN glycerol or N-acyl sphingosine, that is the ceramide, linked to a polar head group, that is the phosphate, that is either a carbohydrate or a phosphate esters. So there are two categories of phospholipids, glycerophospholipid and sphingophospholipid, and two categories of glycolipids also, glyceroglycolipids and sphingoglycolipids. So in your syllabus you have phospholipid, that is glycerophospholipids, or else you can also call it as phospholipid, and phospholipids to study. Sphingophospholipid becomes a group. So you can see in the first one, glycerolipid, the X green color is what it changes with the X can be phosphate esters. The ester can be a choline, serine. We'll see further what all esters can be. That forms a group of phospholipid. In another group, the sphingolipid, backbone is the same, X will be different. X, if becomes a phosphate ester, then it is a sphingophospholipid. If X in case of glycerolipid is just H, it forms 1,2-diacylglycerol. If it is a carbohydrate, it forms glyceroglycolipid. So glycerophospholipids have a significant symmetry in their C1 and C2 linked fatty acyl group. C1 substituents are mostly the saturated fatty acid, whereas those of the C2 are the unsaturated fatty acid. So these are the different phospholipids. What you can see, if the phosphate is like not esterified with a big group, it is only hydrogen, it is called phosphatidic acid. If the phosphate polar head group ester is a choline, then it is called phosphatidylcholine. If the phosphate ester group is a ethanolamine, then it is called phosphatidylethanolamine. If it is inositol, phosphatidylinositol. If it is serine, phosphatidylserine. If it is glycerol, phosphatidylglycerol. We'll see synthesis of all these phospholipids in further slides. So coming to biosynthesis of diacyl glycerol phospholipids, the triacyl glycerol precursor, that is 1,2-diacyl SN glycerol. SN here stand for stereospecific numbering, which assigns the one position to the group occupying the pro-S position of prochiral center. So SN numbering you would have studied in your first semester. So the triacyl glycerol precursors 1,2-SN glycerol and phosphatidic acid are also precursor of certain glycerophospholipids. Activated phosphate esters of the polar head group react with the C3OH group of 1,2-diacyl SN glycerol to form phospholipid phosphodiester bond. In some case, the phosphoryl group of the phosphatidic acid is activated and reacts with unactivated polar head group. So there is attachment of phosphatidic acid with different head groups. So the head groups can be activated or phosphatidic acid can be activated. Now we'll see examples where first the head group will be activated. So this is the mechanism of activation of phosphate esters formation in like this mechanism is same for two polar head groups, that is ethanolamine and choline. The first step is the activation step where ATP first phosphorylates the OH group of choline or ethanolamine with the help of an enzyme ethanolamine kinase or choline kinase. In the second step, the phosphoryl group of the resulting ethanolamine or phosphocholine then attacks CTP, cytidine triphosphate, displacing pyrophosphate to form corresponding CDP derivatives, which are activated phosphate esters of the polar head group. This is done with the help of the enzyme CTP phosphoethanolamine cytidyl triphosphate transferase or CTP phosphocholine cytidyl transferase to form CTP ethanolamine or CDP ethanolamine or CDP choline. So further, in the third step, the C3OH group of 1,2-diacyl SN-glycerol attacks the phosphoryl group of activated CDP ethanolamine or CDP choline, displacing CMP to yield the corresponding glycerophospholipid. Okay. So, with the help of an enzyme, CDP ethanolamine 1,2-diacyl glycerol phosphoethanolamine transferase or CDP choline 1,2-diacyl glycerol phosphocholine transferase to form the final molecule phosphatidyl ethanolamine or phosphatidyl choline, which is also called as lecithin. So, the liver also converts phosphatidyl ethanolamine to phosphatidyl choline by trimethylating its amino group. The only difference between ethanolamine and choline is ethanolamine has hydrogen and choline has three methyl groups. So that three methyl groups can be taken from S-adenosine methionine as the methyl donor in liver, where phosphatidyl ethanolamine can be converted to phosphatidyl choline. Now, this is about phosphatidyl ethanolamine, phosphatidyl choline. Further, we will see how phosphatidyl serine is formed. Phosphatidyl serine is synthesized from phosphatidyl ethanolamine by a head group exchange reaction catalyzed by the enzyme phosphatidyl ethanolamine serine transferase, in which the serine OH group attacks the donor's phosphoryl group. The original head group, that is ethanolamine, will be eliminated, forming phosphatidyl serine. This is very simple. So, coming to phosphatidyl inositol and phosphatidyl glycerol formation, the hydrophobic tail is activated rather than the polar head activation. Phosphatidic acid, the precursor of 1,2-diacyl SN-glycerol, attacks the alpha phosphoryl group of CTP to form activated CDP, diacylglycerol and pyrophosphate. The very first step. Phosphatidyl inositol results from the attack of inositol on CDP diacylglycerol, that is phosphatidyl glycerol is formed in two reactions. The first step is attack of the C1OH group of SN glycerol 3 phosphate on CDP diacylglycerol, yielding phosphatidyl glycerol phosphate. Then further hydrolysis of a phosphoryl group to form phosphatidyl glycerol. Cardiolipin is also an important phospholipid. It was the first phospholipid isolated from the heart tissue, and it is synthesized from two molecules of phosphatidyl glycerol. The reaction occurs by the attack of the C1 OH group of one of the phosphatidyl glycerol molecule on the phosphoryl group of the other, displacing a molecule of glycerol. So, one small note, enzymes that synthesize phosphatidic acid have a general preference for saturated fatty acids at the C1 and for unsaturated fatty acid at the C2, which I already mentioned. Yet this differences, this general preference cannot account for examples of like more than 80% of the brain's phosphatidyl inositol have sterol group, that is 18O0 at C1 and arachidonyl group at C2, and 40% of the lung phosphatidyl choline has palmitoyl at both position. This palmitoyl is very important. Like phosphatidyl choline has palmitoyl group, which is very important because they are the major components of the surfactants that prevent the lung from collapse when air is expelled out. Its deficiency is responsible for respiratory distress syndrome in premature infants. So it has been proved that the side chain specificity results from the remodeling reaction in which specific acyl groups of individual glycero uh, phospholipids are exchanged by specific phospholipases and acyl transferases. There are other membrane constituents like plasminogen. Eukaryotic membranes contain significant amount of two other glycerophospholipid called plasmalogens and acyl alkyl acyl glycerophospholipid. Plasmalogen contain a hydrocarbon chain linked to glycerol C1 via vinyl ether linkage. So this is general structure of plasmalogen, and in case of alkyl acyl glycerophospholipids, in which the alkyl substituent at glycerol C1 is attached via an ether linkage. The next is sphingolipids. Only one major phospholipid contains, that is ceramide. N-acyl sphingosine as its hydrophobic tail. Sphingomyelin is the sphingophospholipid, which is an important structural lipid in nerve cell membrane. This what reaction is showed here, this molecules was once thought that it is synthesized from N-acyl sphingosine, that is ceramide, and CDP choline, but later it was found it forms a different route for synthesis of the sphingomyelin. So this is the biosynthesis of N-acyl sphingosine, the actual biosynthesis, proved biosynthesis, that is it occurs in four reaction from the precursors, that is palmitoyl, CoA and serine. The first step is catalyzed by the enzyme 3-keto-spignoline synthase. It is a pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzyme, catalyzes the condensation of palmitoyl CoA with serine, yielding 3-keto-spignoline. That is a pyridoxal phosphate dependent reaction. Okay, so the second step is catalyzed by the enzyme 3-keto-spignoline reductase, catalyzes the NADPH dependent reduction. You have to remember here, NADPH dependent reduction of 3-keto spignonines keto group to a spignonine, that is dihydroxy sphingosine. Now the third step is that is dihydroceramide is formed by the transfer of an acyl group from an acyl CoA to spigmonine's second amino group, forming a amide bond. Now the fourth step is catalyzed by dihydroceramide dehydrogenase, that converts dihydroceramide to ceramide by an FAD dependent oxidation reaction. Okay, this is the synthesis of ceramide. There is one more molecule called as cerebroside, that is glycoceramides. that is, these glycoceramides are synthesized by adding a sugar group onto the ceramide. That is, galactocerebroside and glucocerebroside are two important common cerebrosides. The term cerebroside is often used synonymous with galactocerebroside. If they ask to write the structure of galactocerebroside, you have to write the structure of galactocerebroside. Both are synthesized from ceramide by addition of glycosyl unit from the corresponding UDP hexose. Galactocerebroside is common component of brain lipids. Glucocerebroside, although relatively uncommon, is a precursor for globoside and ganglioside. So ceramide can be added a glucose unit, like the third carbon. You can see the third carbon of the cerebroside, that is CH2OH. Instead of OH, you can have a glucose unit, that is 1-beta D glucosyl ceramide is formed. That is also called as glucoceramide with the help of an enzyme UDP glucose ceramide glycosyl transferase, also called as glucosyl ceramide synthase. Ceramide can also be added with an activated galactose group, that is with the help of an UDP galactose with the help of the enzyme UDP galactose ceramide glucosyl transferase. Again adds a galactose group forming 1-beta D galactosyl ceramide, forming galactoceramide. There are other compounds which are formed also, like sulfatides forming galactocerebroside 3 sulfate, which account for 15% of the lipids of white matter in the brain. They are formed by the transfer of an activated sulfate group from 3-phosphoadenosine 5' phosphosulfate, which is also called as PAPS, to the C3OH group of galactose in galactocerebroside. So here it is a galactocerebroside which is getting converted to a sulfatide. Here the C3OH group, you have a sulfate added. Next is biosynthesis of globoside and ganglioside. Biosynthesis of both globoside and ganglioside. Globoside is a neutral ceramide oligosaccharide, and ganglioside is an acidic salicylic acid containing ceramide oligosaccharide. This is catalyzed by a series of glucosyl transferases. The way it is added, it looks chemical, the reactions look chemically similar, but each it is catalyzed by specific enzyme. The pathway begins with the transfer of galactosyl unit from UDP galactose to glucoceramide cerebroside to form beta 1,4 linkage. The first step is beta 1,4 linkage. The activated UDP galactose is transferred, the galactose is transferred onto the glucocerebroside. This bond is same as that the linkage of glucose and galactose in lactose. This glycolipid is often referred to as lactosyl ceramide. Lactosyl ceramide is the precursor of both globoside and ganglioside. And to form globoside, one of the galactosyl on one N-acetyl galactosyl amyl unit is added, sequentially added to lactosyl ceramide, forming UDP gal and UDP N-acetyl galactosyl amyl. The GM ganglioside are formed by the addition of N-acetyl neuraminic acid, that is NANA, that is salicylic acid, from activated N-acetyl neuraminic acid activated by the help of CMP to lactosyl ceramide in a alpha 2,3 linkage yielding GM3. The sequential addition of GM3 of N-acetyl galactosamine and galactose units from UDP galactose um, UDP N-acetyl galactosamine and galactose unit form UDP galactose uh, and galactosamine and UDP galactose yielding ganglioside GM2 and other ganglioside formed by adding a second N-acetyl neuraminic acid group to form GM3 forming GD3 or by adding N-acetyl glucosamine unit to lactosyl ceramide before N-acetyl neuraminic acid addition forming GA2. So hundreds of different gangliosides are formed in this way. Sphingolipids are lysosomally degraded by a series of enzymatically mediated hydrolytic reactions. These reactions are catalyzed at a lipid water interface by soluble enzymes, often with an aid of a sphingolipid activator proteins. These proteins, including saponins, GM2 activator protein, SAP-A, SAP-D, etc. They are called as SAPs, that is sphingolipid activator proteins. These non-enzymatic ancillary protein are thought to increase the accessibility of the carbohydrate moiety of sphingolipid to degradation enzymes. So GM2, for example, GM2 activator binds to GM2 and helps expose it to the surface of the membrane. The GM2 activator GM2 complex can then bind hexosamide A, an alpha beta dimer that hydrolyzes N-acetyl glucosamide from GM2 at the liquid water interface. The hereditary absence of one of the sphingolipid hydrolases or a SAP result in sphingolipid storage diseases. One of the most common such few of the most common diseases we'll see here. GM1 gangliosidosis. The very first step you see, GM1 gangliosidosis is created with the deficiency of the enzyme GM1 beta galactosidase. Because of that, the accumulation of ganglioside GM1 happens. Because of this accumulation, the major symptoms like mental retardation, liver enlargement, skeletal involvement, death at the age of 2 can also happen. If there is a deficiency of hexosaminidase A, that is the enzymes which convert ganglioside GM2 to ganglioside GM3. It occurs in case of Tay-Sachs disease, where the GM2 ganglioside gets accumulated. The result of that will be mental retardation, blindness, death at the age of 3. If there is a deficiency of alpha galactosidase A, that is you have to see the reaction where the conversion of uh, trihexo hexosyl ceramide to lactosyl ceramide, that deficiency of alpha galactosidase A occurs in case of Fabry's disease. There is accumulation of trihexosyl ceramide. This will lead to the major symptom of skin rash, kidney failure, pain in lower extremities. If there is a deficiency of the enzyme hexosaminidases A and B, exosaminases A and B. In case see the reaction where the conversion of globoside to trihexosyl ceramide is happening, that leads to a disease named as Standhoff's disease, where the accumulation of ganglioside GM2 and globoside happens. The symptoms are very similar to Tay-Sachs disease, but progressing more rapidly, that is mental retardation, blindness, and eventually leading to death. There are other diseases also, like if you have a deficiency of the enzyme glucocerebrosidase. In case the enzyme which catalyzes the conversion of glucocerebroside to ceramide, you have the formation of Goocher's disease, that is accumulation of glucocerebroside happens. The major symptoms of this disease are liver and spleen enlargement, erosion of long bones, mental retardation in infantile form only. So if you have the deficiency of sphingomyelinase, uh, you see the reaction which converts the surphosphocholine to ceramide, that is sphingomyelin to ceramide. If the enzyme sphingomyelinase is deficient, then there is accumulation of sphingomyelin. This called Niemann-Pick disease, where the symptoms are liver and spleen enlargement and mental retardation. If there is deficiency of ceramidase, uh, that is, you see the reaction where ceramide is converted to fatty acid. Excess ceramide can be converted to fatty acids and used with the release of sphingosine. If there is deficiency of this ceramidase enzyme, then accumulation of ceramide happens. The disease is called as Fabus lipogranulomatosis. Though this is a painful and progressively deformed joint can be observed, skin nodules will be formed, death within a few years is definite. If there is a deficiency of the enzyme galactocerebrosidase, that leads to formation of Krabbe's disease. Galactocerebrosidase catalyzes the reaction of conversion of galactocerebroside to ceramide. Then deacetylated galactocerebroside is getting accumulated, that leads to major symptoms of loss of myelin, mental retardation, and death at the age of the 2. If aryl sulfatase is enzyme is found deficient, then you have the formation, the disease called as metachromatic leukodystrophy, which is also called known as sulfatide lipidosis, is formed because the key enzyme aryl sulfatase catalyzes the conversion of sulfatide to galactocerebroside. So there is accumulation of sulfatide. This leads to mental retardation, death in the first decade only. So the lipid pathways are very key important. The breakdown of sphingolipid by these lysosomal enzymes is very important. Deficiency of it leads to various types of disease because of accumulation of the intermediate products.